Okay, so this tutorial we're going to cover the basics of generating a displacement map and mapping some image materials onto some of the geometries here for your guys' rendering stuff. And so this, the one thing we need to note about Rhino when it takes things into Max is it doesn't really mesh all that well. So if we select this guy and look at the selection space here, you guys don't need to do this, but you can see that these are really sort of weird. It doesn't give us a nice, consistent, even division for us to map materials onto. So if we're dealing with consistent materials, it's not usually that bad, but when we're actually starting to program stuff, it becomes really difficult to utilize StudioMax to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to build our own, and so we're just going to create a wall here. So I switch this to the left view. You can see the wall in white here in this boundary. We're going to go ahead and just draw a plane that we're going to then apply material to, and also a displacement map. So select the plane. Just draw that, and it probably won't draw it with as many subdivisions as mine is, because I went through this to make sure everything was set up. But once you have that drawn, you can come over here under the Modify tab, and then you can increase the number of subdivisions. That'll increase the number of samples on the displacement map we're about to generate. So we're going to go ahead, and then once we've done that, we need to position it. And so if we come over here and grab this guy, we can move that just beyond that wall. Okay. Right now you can see it in our view here, and we got a pretty good subdivision set. I'm going to go ahead, and so these guys look a little bit more square. Just increase that to 100 here. And I'll go ahead and decrease this down to 50. There you go. So that looks a little bit better. So then what we're going to do, now we're ready to go ahead and map our displacement. So we'll go ahead and under the modifier here, just create displacement. And the way that this is going to work is this is based on an image that we've created somewhere else. I showed you guys in class, so we downloaded this image just off the web and did some cropping, did a little bit of contrast modification until I got it to look the way I want it to look. For this, it's only going to detect the black and the white, and it's going to use that to vary the height definition for this displacement. So I'm going to go ahead and I've converted this in here. I've already saved this, but just to show you guys what the kinds of geometry you're going to need to create, I've just saved this out as a black and white JPEG. So I'm going to go ahead now and go back into StudioMax, and I'm going to go ahead and just modify the bitmap, and I just need to go track that guy down. And I've done this church stone wall black and white. And again, nothing's really happened until we start to adjust the strength on this guy. And so I'm going to go ahead and click this up to 0.2, and you can see this starting to displace. And I'll just dial that up. We deselect that. You can see that now that's been really relatively dramatically transformed in here. So if we go and render that out, yeah, that's not going to help. Let's go ahead and click in view. That's going to render. And I still got some materials I need to apply in here. And I'm going to go ahead and just hit cancel here, and we're going to do this by region. Make this relatively small. And if you look there, you can see no, it's been displaced. Okay. Alright, so we'll go ahead and close that down. And now we're ready to generate the material for that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my material library here. So I'm going to select one of these blank tiles, and we're going to go ahead and do an arc design. And first thing I'm going to do, this is not going to be a reflective, so I can drop this down to something a little bit more reasonable in terms of the reflectivity on this guy. So this guy has a little bit of sheen, but not. It's not going to be going bananas like it was just a second ago here. And so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mess with that. I'm just going to go ahead and select this button right here for the maps and click bitmap. I'm going to find my regular Photoshop guy here. Alright, and so for this, what we're going to do is we're going to leave this as the explicit channel map. Sometimes you will change it to a planar object XYZ. For this, we're not going to need to do that. We're going to use the real world scale, and I'm going to go ahead and get this to match some settings that I have. I've done a little bit of guess and checking for us, so we don't have to do too much. But then, so this is starting to render out kind of weird, but let's see how we did. We hit render here. There'll be a lot more. Oh, yeah, it'll certainly help if I actually apply that material to the. I'm not sure why it's not selecting. Alright, so now we got the plane. We'll apply the material to it. We have our force two-sided checked. We'll render. And see how it looks. Alright, and it looks like we have our wall going on here. That's roughly about where I want it to be. You guys will be consistently guessing and checking, and I've cropped out probably 15 minutes worth of guessing and checking to make sure my material map is scaled properly for all that. And you can adjust that in the size of the map in here. Okay. All right, so that's looking good. And again, we mirrored these because this is not a consistent map instead of tiling them. Because if we tile them, then you'd see the scene for each individual guy as we went through it. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just close that down. And so that will now cover, like, as we look at this, this will essentially have now a displace shift, and it will also have that guy in there. I'm gonna go ahead back, cancel, go up to the default. And the other way we can start to really engage this is a bump map. And so we come over here. We'll also use a bump map, bitmap. We'll use a church stone wall. We need to make sure that our tiling matches. And we'll use the real world scale. Alright, so that material should start to have that little nice bump out of it. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is set up the flooring. So I'm going to go ahead and by list, I have two floor finishes. One that I wanted to do is a hardwood, one I wanted to do is a tile. I'll select this next blank guy. Oh. Well, yeah, I'm going to do this. And for this guy, I actually do want to have it to have a little bit of reflectivity in here. So that is probably going to be alright. We're going to go and again diffuse map, bitmap, wooden floorboards, and I've actually gone in here and photoshopped the texture out for this particular guy. You can see that that's uploaded. We're going to use the real world scale again, and we hit apply material to selection, and then go ahead and render. Oh, I'm going to have to move my region around. Go ahead and take a look. It looks like our tiling probably needs to be modified here. It's not really doing what we want it to be doing. And if we look closely, yeah, it's not really working. It looks like we actually have a pretty big mess in here in terms of how all the geometries are applying here. So we'll probably need to make some other adjustments. Alright, so we'll go ahead and hit cancel. Come back in here. Go ahead and do this as a planar. And then double click on this to see. Alright, so now it's going to actually use that. So it's going to do a planar object from XYZ. We'll leave the tile size as 1 to 1, so we can essentially go through and guess and check and guess and check and guess and check, and you guys are probably already getting the sense of this. I'm going to make this region even smaller and focus on our floors now. Alright, so now we're starting to see this is going in the right direction. Our boards look a little bit big, but we'll go ahead and hit cancel. We're going to go ahead and just hop back into our material map here, increase the tile size, and we'll mirror this as well. Sometimes okay, so I've gone ahead and just did a little bit of guessing checking. So it's 0.5 by 0.5 for this particular guy to get this right. And so you can see I did a sample render here. So at this point, we're ready to go ahead and go beyond that and just actually look at a view in here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and position myself a little bit closer to that wall. Okay, so we can see that. Rendering, render setup. Oh, and of course it helps if you actually render the camera that you're looking at. Alright, so we should be able to take a closer look at this. And maybe our floors are a little bit too glossy. You can see the reflection of this guy in there. Alright, that's looking pretty clean. Alright, so we'll do a little bit of fast forward magic here, and when it's done, we'll go ahead and take a look. And that should be everything you need to know about the displacements and applying and generating some simple materials. Alright, through the magic of render vision here, we have our finished rendering. Right. So go ahead and save this out. We'll save it as a JPEG for inch 1. Alrighty.